On October 25th, 2023, at exactly 3:17 in the afternoon, my daughter-in-law Rebecca opened my front door and said, "This is our house now, Simone. You need to leave." I'm Simone Marie Beauvais. I'm 67 years old. I've lived in Queens, New York for 43 years. And when Rebecca said those words, I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't argue. I smiled. Then I pulled out my phone, pressed record, and said, "That's real interesting, Rebecca. Why don't we talk about that?" My key wouldn't turn in the lock. I stood there on my own front porch, the porch where I'd planted red petunias every spring for 15 years, and the metal just ground against something that didn't fit anymore. The navy blue suitcase at my feet had a broken wheel that clicked when you rolled it. I'd been gone 2 weeks. At least that's what Gabriel and Rebecca thought. I knocked 3 times. Hard. The door opened. Rebecca stood there wearing a cream-colored cashmere sweater I'd never seen before. Her dark hair was pulled back perfectly. And that smile on her face, Lord, that smile was cold, sharp, like she'd been waiting for this exact moment. "My key doesn't work," I said. "There's nothing wrong with the lock." She leaned against the door frame. "We changed it, and the deed, and the bank accounts." She tilted her head. "This is our house now, Simone. You can't stay here anymore." Behind her, Gabriel appeared. My baby, my only child. 45 years old now, but I could still see that little boy who used to ask why Mama's hands were always so red and rough. "Gabriel," my voice cracked. "Baby, what is she talking about?" He looked at the floor. Wouldn't meet my eyes. He didn't say anything. That silence told me everything. My own son, the boy I'd sacrificed 40 years for, he was part of this. Something cold washed through my veins, sharp as ice water. My grandmother's voice echoed in my head. She'd been born in Mississippi in 1923, lived through things I could barely imagine. "Baby," she used to say, "they'll smile while they steal your soul. The trick is to smile right back. Then you take what's yours." I smiled at Rebecca. "That's real interesting," I said, voice steady. "Real interesting timing. Why don't you both step aside? Because we need to have a conversation about who actually owns this house." Rebecca's smile flickered. "There's nothing to talk about," she said. "We have all the paperwork. Everything's legal." "Oh, I know you do." I pulled out my phone. "I know about the forged property transfer. I know about the money you've been moving from my accounts. I know everything, Rebecca, because I've been watching you for 2 weeks." The color drained from her face. Gabriel's head snapped up. "Mom." "Inside," I said. Firm, the voice I used when Gabriel was 5 and about to touch a hot stove. "Both of you, we're going to sit down, and you're going to listen. People always want to know how it comes to this. How does a mother work herself to the bone, only to have her child try to take everything? It starts in 1983. I was 27 with a 5-year-old son and a husband who'd just walked out with his coworker. Left me with $847, rent due in 12 days, and a note that said, "I can't do this anymore." No child support, no alimony, nothing. I had a high school diploma, a receptionist job making $680 a month, and a baby asking when Daddy was coming home. Our apartment cost $420 a month. The math didn't work. So I made a decision that shaped the next 40 years. I would work until I'd saved enough to give Gabriel what his father never gave us: security, stability, a home nobody could take away. I got 3 jobs. Baker's assistant, 5 to 8 a.m., $440 a month. Office cleaning in Manhattan, 9 to 6, $1,180 a month. Medical offices at night, 7 to 1 a.m., $880 a month. 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, every week for 15 years, $3,000 coming in monthly. After rent, food, utilities, and Gabriel's needs, I saved $2,000 a month, sometimes more. I ate oatmeal and peanut butter sandwiches. Gabriel ate chicken, vegetables, fruit. I cut my own hair, never went to movies. Every penny went into savings. By 1998, I had $95,000 saved. But I didn't stop. I kept going another 10 years, paid Gabriel's college tuition, $4,200 per semester, bought him a car, $6,500. First month in deposit on his apartment, $1,800. In 2008, 25 years after I started, I had $180,000. I bought the house on 45th Avenue in Elmhurst for $340,000. Put down everything I'd saved and took a mortgage for the rest. That house was everything. I scrubbed every floor, painted every wall, planted roses out front, made it mine. Gabriel moved in. For 7 years, it was just us. Simple, peaceful. Then in March 2015, he said, "Mom, I want you to meet someone. Her name is Rebecca." Gabriel brought her home 2 days after my 59th birthday. Rebecca Coleman, 28 years old, wearing a navy dress with a gold necklace. Beautiful in that polished way that made me aware of my bare feet and worn jeans. She held out her hand. "Mrs. Beauvais, I've heard so much about you." For 6 months, Rebecca was perfect. Sunday dinners with flowers, questions about my life, about raising Gabriel alone. Really listening. One July night, making sweet potato pie together, she said, "Simone, I hope someday I can be half the mother you are. Gabriel told me everything you sacrificed. That's real love." My eyes got wet. This girl understood. When Gabriel proposed, I cried happy tears. At their wedding in March 2016, I spent $8,000 of my savings. Flowers, catering, photographer. I didn't care about the money. At the reception, Rebecca took my hand. "Thank you for everything, for welcoming me. I promise I'll take care of him. I promise I'll make you proud." I believed her. God help me, I believed every word. The first months were wonderful, cooking together, watching shows. She'd bring me tea, notice when I was tired. Real family, I thought. Then the changes started. Small at first. "This couch looks worn out. That wallpaper is dated. We're just here temporarily," like my house was some way station they were passing through. Then accidents. My mother's blue glass vase from 1965 shattered. "I'll replace it," Rebecca said. She never did. My favorite armchair, bleach stain. "Maybe time for a new one." Family photos disappeared. I packed those away. Too dusty. Replaced with photos of Gabriel and Rebecca looking perfect. The real change came a year and a half after the wedding. I came home to find my living room completely different. My couch, my chairs, my grandmother's side table from Mississippi, gone. Replaced with modern white leather and glass. "Surprise!" Rebecca beamed. "I redid everything. Don't you love it?" "Where's my furniture?" "Donated. It was old. This is better." I found everything in the basement that night, piled like trash. I sat on that old couch and cried quietly. Upstairs, I heard Rebecca's voice. "She'll adjust. Old people just don't like change." Old people. I was 60. I'd worked 40 years for this house. But I said nothing. Maybe she was just making it hers, too. Maybe I was too sensitive. I had no idea this was just the beginning. August 15th, 2023. Everything changed. My phone rang while I was making lunch. Unknown number. "Is this Simone Beauvais?" "Yes." "Mrs. Beauvais, I'm Thomas Wellington, attorney with Morrison & Associates in Albany. I'm calling about your brother, Walter Henderson." My heart stopped. Walter. 15 years since we'd spoken. Stupid falling out in 2008. Pride. "What about Walter?" "I'm very sorry to inform you Walter passed away last week. Heart attack." The room tilted. Walter. My big brother who taught me to ride a bike, who walked me down the aisle. Gone. "Mrs. Beauvais, Walter left a will. He named you sole beneficiary." I couldn't speak. "He left you everything. His house, valued at $180,000. Investment accounts, $125,000. Savings, $35,000. After taxes, you're inheriting approximately $340,000. $340,000. Tears ran down my face. Not joy, grief and regret. 15 years wasted being too proud to call. But Walter remembered me. Left me everything. "One more thing," Mr. Wellington said. "There's a clause about your son Gabriel. Walter wanted to ensure Gabriel was taking proper care of you. He was quite specific." I didn't understand what that meant then. After we hung up, I just sat there, staring. Rebecca appeared. "Simone, are you okay?" I looked up, workout clothes, ponytail, concern on her face. "My brother Walter died. Heart attack." "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. He left me everything. About $340,000. Rebecca's hand landed on my shoulder, tightened, just for a second. "Wow, that's a lot of money." Her voice changed, animated. "That'll help with your security. Maybe we can help you invest it. Plan for your needs." She said we. She knew the exact amount. I'd only said it once, and she'd locked onto it immediately. Her eyes flickered. Her grip tightened. Her voice got excited. I should have seen it then, but I was grieving, in shock. "Yeah," I said quietly. "I guess it'll help. We can help you figure out the best way to use it," Rebecca said. So sweet, so supportive. At the time, I thought she was being kind. I had no idea I'd just triggered everything that would come next. The change in Rebecca was immediate. The very next morning, she was up early making me breakfast. Scrambled eggs with cheese, turkey sausage, fresh squeezed orange juice. Set it all down in front of me with a smile. "I was thinking about what you said yesterday," she started, sitting across from me with her coffee. "About the inheritance. About fixing up the house." I took a bite of eggs. They were good, really good. What if we did more than just repairs? Rebecca leaned forward, eyes bright. "Real renovations, new kitchen, new bathrooms. You deserve a beautiful space, Simone. You worked so hard for this house." Something warm flickered in my chest. Maybe I'd been wrong about her. "Renovations are expensive," I said slowly. "But you have the money now," Rebecca pressed. "And honestly, the house needs it. It would increase the value so much. And when you eventually pass, Gabriel would inherit a house worth way more." "When I eventually pass. Plus," Rebecca continued, "you should think about setting aside money for grandchildren. When Gabriel and I have kids, we're thinking about starting soon. You'll want to help with their education, right?" Grandchildren. The word made my heart squeeze. "I'd love that," I said softly. "So let's be smart about this money," Rebecca said, squeezing my hand. "Let's make a plan. I can help you organize everything. We can go to the bank together, set up accounts. I can connect you with people who handle finances." That morning, I poured my coffee down the sink when her back was turned, watched it swirl away. By evening, I knew what I had to do. September 20th, 6 in the morning. I got out of bed with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. I gave Gabriel one chance. At breakfast, I asked him directly, "Baby, if something happened to me, if I got sick, what would you do?" Gabriel's coffee cup paused halfway to his mouth. "We'd take care of you, Mama. Always." But his eyes slid away. Wouldn't meet mine. My son was lying to me. Right then, the decision locked into place. I picked up my phone and made 3 calls. Call 1, Cousin Grace Thompson in Albany. "Grace, I need your help, and I need you not to ask questions until I'm done." I told her everything. The overheard conversation I hadn't mentioned yet, but would explain. The inheritance. Rebecca's sudden interest, the feeling in my gut. Grace was silent for a long moment, then, "What do you need?" "Tell Gabriel and Rebecca I invited you here for a visit in 2 weeks. If they ask, say I'm coming to stay with you in Albany." "Where will you really be?" "Close by. Watching." Call 2, Louise Parker, my best friend since 1984. "Lou, I need you. Can you come over today?" She heard something in my voice. "I'm on my way." Louise arrived at noon while Rebecca was at the gym. I told her everything, including what I hadn't told anyone yet. What I'd heard 2 nights before. September 19th. 2:37 a.m. I'd woken to voices downstairs. I'd crept to the kitchen doorway and listened. Rebecca on the phone. By Christmas, the house will be ours. I've got the paperwork ready. Gabriel's voice. What if she fights? Rebecca. She won't. She's too afraid of losing you. I'd stood there in the dark hallway, hand over my mouth to keep from making a sound, while my own child plotted to steal everything. Louise's face went hard. That girl's going to learn who she's messing with. What do you need? Recording devices, hidden ones, and help installing them. By the end of the week, we had 4 recording devices hidden in the house. Louise's nephew DeAndre worked security. He hooked us up with professional equipment, cameras hidden in smoke detectors, a wall clock, a picture frame, living room, kitchen, Gabriel's home office, backyard. 4 is enough, DeAndre said. More than that gets risky. He was right. We had a close call on the 3rd day. DeAndre was adjusting the living room camera, hidden in the smoke detector above the couch, when Rebecca walked in early from the gym. What are you doing? My heart stopped. DeAndre didn't miss a beat. Mrs. Beauvais said the smoke detector kept beeping. Just changing the battery. Rebecca stared at him, at me, for what felt like an hour. Okay. After she left, DeAndre turned to me. She suspects something. You need to be more careful. That night, lying in bed, I nearly called the whole thing off. Maybe this was crazy. Maybe I should just confront them directly. But then I remembered. She's too afraid of losing you. They knew. They knew I wouldn't fight because I loved Gabriel too much. They were counting on it. No, I needed proof. Evidence. Something they couldn't lie their way out of. I met her at a coffee shop in Corona on September 25th. Sarah was 50 years old, black woman like me, with sharp eyes that didn't miss anything. Mrs. Beauvais, she said after I'd explained everything, I'm going to be real with you. If we do this, if we find what I think we're going to find, it's going to hurt. You ready for that? They're already hurting me. At least this way I'll know the truth. Sarah nodded. Surveillance runs $1,500 a day. 2 weeks is $21,000. That's on top of the equipment. I have the money. One more thing. Sarah leaned forward. Sometimes we discover things worse than people imagined. If that happens, if we find out your son is more involved than you think, you still want to know? I thought about 5-year-old Gabriel asking why my hands were red. Then I thought about 45-year-old Gabriel standing silent while his wife told me to leave. Yes, I want to know everything. October 11th, the fake trip. I've been thinking, I announced at dinner. Maybe I should take that trip to see Grace, like you suggested, Rebecca. Get away for a bit. Clear my head. Rebecca's face lit up like Christmas morning. Oh, Simone, I think that's wonderful. How long? Maybe 2 weeks. Grace and I have a lot to catch up on. Perfect, Gabriel said too quickly, too eager. Under the table, I saw Rebecca squeeze his leg. When were you thinking of going? She asked. Wednesday, October 11th. We'll help you pack, Gabriel offered. That's sweet, baby, but I can manage. The next day, I packed my suitcase. Gabriel carried it to the taxi, hugged me at the door. You okay, Mama? You seem off. I almost broke right there. Almost told him everything. Gabriel, if you need to tell me something. No, I'm good. He squeezed tighter. You have a safe trip. His hug lingered. Just a moment. I felt his conflict, his guilt. Then Rebecca appeared. Car's here. At the door, Rebecca said, Take your time, Simone. We'll take care of everything here. The emphasis on everything. I caught it. The taxi pulled away. I waved from the back window. And then I had the driver take me to the Budget Inn in Flushing, 3 miles from my house. Room 217. For the next week, I sat in that hotel room watching my house on a laptop. Sarah Mitchell had set up 3 monitors showing different camera angles. We could switch between all 4 cameras with a click. They think you're in Albany, Sarah said. Let's see what they do when nobody's watching. Day 1-2. Nothing major. Gabriel and Rebecca came home from work. cooked dinner, watched TV, normal. I started to think maybe I'd misheard that midnight conversation. Maybe I was being paranoid. Day 3, the real conversation. Rebecca on the phone with someone. Not loud, she was being careful. Sitting in Gabriel's office, speaking quietly. But the camera caught everything. "We're on schedule," she said. "I've got the power of attorney documents ready. Just need her to sign. She trusts us completely. No, we move the money slowly. 5,000 here, 7,000 there. Can't look suspicious. 6 months, maybe less. Then we file for incompetency and put her in a facility." Sarah looked at me. "You getting this?" I couldn't speak, just nodded. Day 5, Gabriel's private moment. He was alone in what used to be my sewing room. Picked up a photo, him and me at his high school graduation, both of us grinning. He held it for a long time, whispered, "I'm sorry, Mama," then put it in a box anyway. I watched this and cried. He knows it's wrong. He's doing it anyway. Day 7, the money movement. Camera caught Gabriel at his laptop in the home office. Bank website open. I watched him transfer $7,300 from my savings account to the joint account Rebecca had set up. Then another transfer. This time $8,500. $15,800 gone in 10 minutes. Sarah recorded every keystroke, every transaction number. "That's felony theft," she said quietly. "Multiple counts." Day 9, Rebecca's research. She spent 2 hours looking at assisted living facilities online, made notes, compared prices. One search phrase made my blood run cold. How to prove elderly parent incompetent. She bookmarked 4 different articles. Day 10, October 21st, evening. The camera caught Rebecca coming home with a shopping bag. CVS Pharmacy logo. She went to the bathroom, came out 5 minutes later, showed Gabriel something. They hugged, both crying. Happy tears. Rebecca was pregnant. Sarah turned to me. "Oh, shit." I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. "I'm going to be a grandmother." They stood in the kitchen, Rebecca's hand on her still flat stomach, Gabriel's hand over hers, making plans, talking about names, about the future. "This changes everything," Rebecca said. "We need that house now. We need the money for our baby." "Are you sure we should still?" Gabriel started. "Your mother will understand eventually. She'll want what's best for her grandchild, right? What kind of grandmother would deny her grandchild a good home?" The manipulation was perfect, cruel, brilliant. Gabriel hesitated, then nodded. I sat in that hotel room staring at the screen. A baby, my grandchild. If I prosecuted them, if I sent Gabriel to prison, this baby would grow up without a father. Rebecca would raise the child alone, probably teaching them to hate me. But if I did nothing, they'd steal everything, lock me away, erase 40 years of my life. Louise called that night. I told her about the pregnancy. "Simone, don't let them manipulate you with a baby." "But Lou, listen to me. That child deserves a grandmother with dignity, a grandmother who stood up for herself, not one who let herself be destroyed." She was right. But God, it hurt. Over the next 4 days, I watched my house become a crime scene. October 22nd. A man arrived. Not a notary, more careful than that. But I recognized the briefcase, the way Rebecca handed him papers, the way they spoke in low voices in the kitchen. Gabriel transferred another $12,000, then $15,000, then $18,000. Running total, $60,800 stolen. October 23rd, locksmith came, changed all the locks. I watched Rebecca test the new keys with a satisfied smile. "Perfect," she said to Gabriel. "Now we're ready." October 24th, Rebecca met with a real estate agent, woman with a tablet and a portfolio. They walked through my house while the agent took notes. "It's a good property. In this market, you're looking at $520,000, maybe $530 if we stage it right. How fast can we sell once we have clear title? Listed within a week. It'll move fast." My house. They were already selling my house. October 25th, morning. Camera caught their final conversation before I was due to return. "She'll be back at 3, Gabriel said, nervous. "And her key won't work." Rebecca was calm, confident. "We tell her the house is ours. Show her the paperwork. If she fights, we threaten incompetency hearing. She'll back down. She always backs down when it comes to you." Gabriel looked sick but said nothing. Rebecca continued. "By tonight, she'll be out. By next week, the house is listed. By Christmas, we're in Westchester with $60,000 in the bank and a baby on the way." Sarah Mitchell turned off the monitor. "We've got enough. More than enough. Theft, fraud, conspiracy, forgery. They're looking at 15 to 20 years each." "Even with the pregnancy?" "Even with." I sat there in that hotel room, thinking about Gabriel as a little boy, about the baby growing inside Rebecca, about 40 years of sacrifice, about what my grandmother would do. "Let's go," I said. "It's time to go home." Sarah drove me back to 45th Avenue at 3:15, parked around the corner. "You sure about this?" she asked. I looked at my house, my beautiful house that I'd paid for with blood and broken hands. "I'm sure." I walked up to my front door, put my key in the lock. It didn't turn. I smiled. Everything was going exactly according to plan. I knocked 3 times. The door opened. Rebecca stood there in that cream sweater, that victorious smile. "Simone," she said, "we've been expecting you." "My key doesn't work," I said, holding it up. Rebecca leaned against the door frame, arms crossed. "There's nothing wrong with the lock. We changed it." Gabriel stood behind her, staring at his shoes. "This is our house now," Rebecca continued. "You can't stay here anymore. We think it's time you looked into other arrangements. Senior living, maybe. Somewhere with people who can help you." The words she'd been practicing, the speech she'd been waiting 2 weeks to deliver. I let the moment breathe, let the weight of it settle. Then I smiled. "You know what, Rebecca? Why don't you both come to the backyard? I think we need to have a conversation." "There's nothing to talk about." "Now," I said, not loud, but firm, the voice that made Gabriel move despite himself. We walked through my house, through the kitchen where Rebecca had planned my erasure, through the living room where she'd removed every trace of me, out to the backyard with the expensive teak furniture they'd bought with stolen money. They sat. Rebecca tried to look confident. Gabriel looked like he might be sick. I stayed standing, pulled out my phone. "Let me tell you what I did these past 2 weeks, I said, voice calm and cold. "See, I didn't go to Albany. I stayed at a hotel in Flushing, 3 miles from here. And I hired a private investigator. We installed cameras in this house. 4 cameras, professional grade, high-definition video, crystal clear audio." Rebecca's face went completely still. "For 2 weeks I watched you." My voice was hard now. 40 years of anger in every word. "I watched you plan to steal my house. I watched you transfer $60,800 from my accounts. I watched you hire a real estate agent to sell my home. I heard every phone call, every conversation, every crime." "Mom, please," Gabriel started. "I'm not done." I looked at my son. "I watched you carry boxes of my belongings to the basement. Watched you hold a photo of us. You whispering, 'I'm sorry,' then pack it away anyway. Not once did you say, 'Maybe this is wrong.' You just did whatever your wife told you." Gabriel's eyes filled with tears. I pulled up an audio file, hit play. Rebecca's voice filled the backyard. "By Christmas, the house will be ours. We move the money slowly. Then we file for incompetency and put her in a facility." Gabriel's voice. "What if she fights?" Rebecca. "She won't. She's too afraid of losing you." I stopped the recording. Let it sink in. "I have 2 weeks of footage," I said quietly. "Every crime documented. Bank transfers, real estate meetings, lock changes, everything." "Mom, please, we can fix this." Gabriel was crying now. "You can't fix this. You can't undo stealing $60,000. You can't undo conspiracy to commit elder fraud. I pulled out my phone again, dialed a number, put it on speaker. Morrison and Associates, Thomas Wellington speaking. Thomas, it's Simone Beauvais. I'm at the house. I'm ready to proceed. I'll be there in 20 minutes with the police. I hung up. Rebecca finally looked up. Her face was hard, angry. You can't prove any of this. No, Rebecca. It's your word against video evidence, audio recordings, bank records, and the real estate agent you hired. I leaned forward. You did this to yourself. You got greedy, and you underestimated who you were dealing with. I'm your son, Gabriel said, voice broken. You're really going to send me to prison? I thought about 5-year-old Gabriel, the boy I worked 3 jobs for. Then I thought about the man who threw my photo albums away, who sold me out for a house in Westchester. Here's what's going to happen, I said. You have 2 choices. Choice 1, criminal prosecution. Both of you go to prison. Rebecca, you're looking at 15 to 20 years as mastermind. Gabriel, 12 to 15 as accomplice. Your baby grows up visiting parents behind bars. Rebecca's hand instinctively went to her stomach. I know about the baby, I said. Congratulations. I'm going to be a grandmother. Gabriel broke. Mama, that's why we needed... You needed what? My voice cracked, the only emotional moment I allowed myself. You thought I wouldn't help you? That I wouldn't give everything for my grandchild? All you had to do was ask me, Gabriel. Ask your mother who worked 3 jobs for you. Ask your mother who never said no to you once in 45 years. But you didn't ask. You stole. You plotted to lock me away like garbage. We'll give it all back, Rebecca said desperately. We'll fix this. Here's choice 2, I continued. Full confession, signed and witnessed. Return every penny with 25% interest. That's $76,000 total. Deed goes back to me, only my name. You both move out permanently. 5-year restraining order with supervised visitation rights for the baby. You avoid prison, but you'll have permanent fraud records. Civil, not criminal. That's not fair, Rebecca stood. We'll lose everything. You were going to take everything from me. This way you get to raise your child. You get to be parents. Choose wisely. You have 24 hours to decide. Gabriel stared at me. Mama, I'm so sorry. I know you are, baby. But sorry doesn't fix broken trust. Sorry doesn't give me back 40 years of respect. I walked into my house, left them in the backyard. 24 hours passed like years. I sat in my reclaimed house. Louise came over. You did good, Simone. Then why does it feel like I'm losing him either way? Because you are. But you're keeping yourself. That's what matters. The next evening, 7 o'clock, there was a knock. Gabriel stood alone at the door. I'll sign everything. I'll do whatever you want. Just please, let me be a father. Where's Rebecca? She doesn't want to sign, but I'm signing. I can't do this anymore, Mama. I can't go to prison. I can't miss my baby's life. His face was destroyed, exhausted. But there was something else there, too. Relief. Like he'd been carrying a weight he could finally put down. Come in, baby. We sat at the kitchen table, just us. Why? I asked. Why did you let it get this far? Gabriel's hands shook. Rebecca said we'd never afford a baby without help. Said you'd understand eventually. That you'd want us to have the house anyway. He looked up, eyes red. And I was weak. I was so weak, Mama. I let her convince me it wasn't really stealing because it would be mine one day anyway. But you knew it was wrong. I knew. His voice broke. Every day I knew. But I kept thinking maybe if we just got through this part, everything would be okay. Maybe you'd forgive us later. Maybe... He covered his face. I was lying to myself. Yes, you were. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve it. But please, please let me know my child. Let me be better for them than I was for you. The next morning, my phone rang. Thomas Wellington. Mrs. Beauvais, I need to discuss something from Walter's will. Something I didn't mention initially. My heart sank. What is it? Walter included a clause specifically about Gabriel. He wanted to ensure Gabriel was trustworthy and caring toward you. If Gabriel proved otherwise, the inheritance was to bypass him entirely. What does that mean? It means you need to certify whether Gabriel has been trustworthy. If you certify he hasn't, which given the evidence you'd be legally required to do, the $340,000 goes into a trust fund for future grandchildren. Gabriel can't touch it, but your grandchild will have college paid for, a down payment on a house, financial security. Walter knew, even from a distance, he'd seen what I couldn't see, and he'd protected me. Walter also wrote a letter, Thomas continued. Would you like me to read it? Yes. Thomas's voice softened as he read. Simone, if you're hearing this clause, it means my worst fears came true. It means Gabriel tried to take advantage of your love. I saw signs, sister, the way he talked about money, the way his wife looked at you. I'm sorry I didn't warn you. I'm sorry we wasted 15 years being stubborn. But I want you to know, you don't owe anyone your dignity, not even your son. This money is for your grandchild, the next generation. Let them learn from both our mistakes. Love, Walter. I sat there with tears streaming down my face. I'll certify, I said. Gabriel was untrustworthy. But tell me, can I create my own separate trust for the baby? On top of Walter's? Of course. Then I want to set aside $50,000 for my grandchild. From me. Very generous, Mrs. Beauvais. It's not generous. It's grandmotherly. That baby didn't do anything wrong. October 28th. Law Office of Patricia Moore. Gabriel signed every document. Confession of attempted fraud. Repayment plan. $76,000 total, paid over 5 years. Deed transfer back to me. Restraining order with grandchild visitation clause. Rebecca signed last, jaw tight, wouldn't look at me. When it was done, I said, Gabriel. He looked up. I love you. I will always love you. But I will never trust you again. I paused. Your child, my grandchild, will know me. Will know where they came from. Will know the difference between right and wrong. And maybe one day when you've proven yourself, we can talk again. I'll spend the rest of my life making this up to you. I don't want your life. I want my peace. 6 months later, my phone buzzed. Text from Gabriel. Baby's coming. Brooklyn Methodist Hospital. I stared at that message for 10 minutes. Louise sat next to me. You going? I don't know. Yes, you do. She was right. I arrived at the hospital at 11:47 p.m., waited in the waiting room, hands shaking, heart pounding. Gabriel came out at 1:23 a.m., eyes red from crying. It's a girl, Maya Grace Beauvais, named after Walter's middle name. She's beautiful, Mama. Do you want to meet her? Every part of me wanted to say no, to hold on to my anger, to protect myself. But this wasn't about me anymore. Yes, Rebecca was in the bed, holding a tiny bundle. She looked up when I entered. Thank you for coming. Not warm, not hostile, just exhausted, real. I walked over slowly. Rebecca held out the baby. I took her. Maya Grace Beauvais, 7 pounds, 3 ounces, perfect tiny fingers, eyes scrunched shut. Hello, baby girl, I whispered. I'm your grandmother, your Mimi. The anger didn't disappear. The hurt didn't vanish. But holding that baby, something shifted. I'm going to tell you stories, I said to Maya, about your great-uncle Walter, about where we come from, about what it means to be strong, about what it means to stand up for yourself. I looked at Gabriel, and I'm going to make sure you never have to choose between doing right and doing wrong. Because you'll know. You'll always know. 1 year later, I'm in my garden planting chrysanthemums for fall. The house is quiet, peaceful, mine. Louise lives next door now. Every morning we have coffee on my front porch and watch the neighborhood wake up. Maya visits every Sunday, Supervised visits per the agreement, but Gabriel and Rebecca never miss one. They're struggling financially. The repayment plan is hard, but they're making it work. Their marriage is strained, but they're in counseling. Last Sunday, Gabriel brought Maya over, 13 months old now, starting to walk. She toddled over to me in the garden, grabbed a handful of dirt, laughed. Gabriel watched from the porch. We made eye contact. Not forgiveness, not yet, but maybe one day. People ask me if I regret it, if I wish I'd handled it differently. I don't. Justice isn't about revenge. It's about drawing a line and saying, you can't cross this. It's about teaching the next generation that love doesn't mean accepting abuse. That sacrifice doesn't mean erasure. I lost my son in a way, but I kept my dignity, my home, my self-respect. And I gained something too, a granddaughter who will grow up knowing her grandmother stood up for herself. That's the legacy I want to leave, not sacrifice until there's nothing left, but strength that says, I matter too. This morning Maya is playing in the dirt while I plant bulbs for spring. Gabriel drops by to pick her up. The garden looks good, Mama, he says quietly. Thank you, baby. He starts, then stops. I'm still working on it, on being better. I know. Keep working. He nods, picks up Maya. Say bye to Mimi. Maya waves her tiny hand. Bye-bye. I wave back, watching them walk to the car. The October sun is warm on my face. My house stands solid behind me. The roses are blooming. Red ones, my favorite. I'm 68 years old. I spent 40 years building a fortress. And when my own son tried to tear it down, I built it back up. Stronger this time. My grandmother was right. All those years ago on that porch in Mississippi. They'll smile while they steal your soul. But the trick is to smile right back. And then you take what's yours. At 67, I learned that blood doesn't entitle anyone to your dignity. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't the loudest one. It's the quiet morning in your own garden, drinking coffee on your own porch in your own home. That's freedom. That's peace. That's justice.